All right, hello everyone. My name is Samson. I'm 20 years old, and in the last 30 days, we did £20,000 in revenue with a brand new hybrid offer. And in this video, I'm going to be walking you through exactly how we did it. I'm going to be covering literally every single component that contributed towards the growth of this offer, and I won't be hiding anything. I'm going to be going through every single process, all of the numbers, every system in place that we had to basically make this achievable. And I've designed this video in a way that you can literally copy every single step and hopefully replicate it for yourself and achieve the same. So sit down, get ready to take some notes, and let's get into it. Okay, so as mentioned, we went from £0 to £20,000 a month with a new hybrid offer in 30 days. Now, to explain what a hybrid offer is, basically for the last 3 years, all I've been working on is the agency. Okay, so I've been in the agency space, basically building custom AI solutions, software build outs, and anything around sort of systems and AI for businesses. Okay, when I started posting on the personal brands, so for example, YouTube, or you may have seen me on Instagram, I had a lot of people reaching out basically saying, what is it you do? I want to learn more. How can you help me? Right? So with that information of there's clear demand and obviously my skills within the agency, I was already aware that the agency model is not necessarily the most scalable. So I basically spent some time thinking, how can I turn this into one hybrid offer where I mix implementation and consulting. So there's a mix of information, consulting, and implementation, because I find it's actually much more beneficial to not just give people systems, but give them systems and then consult on how they can use them, how they can track the data from them, how they can optimize them and use them for the long term. And likewise, consultation on its own is not always that useful. Just telling someone, well, you could do this, is not as beneficial as saying, you should be doing this, here's the system to do it. So what we did was we put together a hybrid offer that mixes the best of both worlds, and that is what we've been running for the last 30 days. Obviously a little bit longer than that at the time of recording this, but that's what we're going to be going through today, and that is just a little breakdown of the offer before we get into it. So first thing I'm going to do is actually break down the numbers from August, because otherwise a lot of you guys won't keep watching and you'll probably think this is just another guy waffling on, lying about his revenue. So we did £20,000 in revenue in 30 days. It was 80% profit. You can see I spent around £1,000 on advertisements. I pay 2 setters commission. I have 1 VA and 1 video editor who does all of my content. So it's a very lean team, very high profit, and a really nice scalable model. We had 6 new one-to-one clients. Okay, we had 1K new qualified followers. So you can see just here from the 1st of August, 1st of August, we were doing around sort of 25 to 50 new followers a day. And I think it averaged out around sort of 35, 40 new followers a day. So around 1,000 new followers. Okay, we did around 800,000 organic Instagram views. Okay, sorry, not 800,000 organic, 15% was from ads. So you can see we're very organic heavy. We did just under 800,000 views, 95% from non-followers. So a lot of accounts reached without any spend. The spend, which obviously I will go into later, is really just to amplify the winners. Okay, so those are the core results from August. So due to the fact that there is genuinely people in the market who will blatantly lie about their client base, here are the 6 clients. We had Daniel, he's based in the US. We had Tom, he's Dutch, living in Madrid. We had Ben, he's from the UK. We had Ben number 2, he's from Australia. We have Adam, he's from Slovakia. And we've got Taj, who also happens to be from Australia. So you can see it's quite an international sort of base that we're targeting. Our ads are targeted towards Australia, US, and Canada. So it makes sense the majority of the people that have come in are in those demographics. Okay. Now, one of the most impressive metrics is that in terms of the sales calls we had, and I will go into how we've actually managed to achieve this, is we had basically 0 no-shows in the month of August. We had a couple reschedules, but basically no no-shows. Okay. And that's because our appointment setting system is very dialed in. Obviously, I'm going to be going much more in depth into what that looks like, but I think a lot of you guys will realize that there's a lot of revenue being left on the table simply by, booking in great prospects, but then not actually having them show up. So I'm going to walk through literally everything we've done to achieve that. And that was one of the things that for me is a sort of new metric of 0 no-shows. And that was just through a small few tweaks that we made. So I'm going to talk you through that just in a little bit, but we will get to that in due time. So step 1, obviously now that we've got the basics out of the way of that's what we did, here's the proof that we actually did it. I'm going to walk you through everything that we did in order to achieve it. So step number 1, and this is the foundation of everything, and this is your profile and content ecosystem. So for reference, the funnel that we run is a profile funnel, okay, which means what we're doing is we're driving traffic to a profile. So what you need to understand, a lot of people don't realize this, is when you're selling through socials, is that your profile acts as your landing page. So for example, my Instagram profile, where the majority of our traffic is coming through, That acts as our landing page, okay? And every element, much like a website, must be engineered for conversion, not vanity, okay? We're not here to show off, okay? We're here to put things in sort of the right places in order to nurture people, okay? So we crafted a crystal clear value proposition that immediately communicates systems and freedom, AI systems and freedom to service providers, coaches, and consultants. So it's very clear when you go through my page that that's what I'm about. I'm about freedom. I'm about systems. I'm about AI, and people should know who I'm serving it for, because it is to sell your service at scale. So that immediately rules out anyone who's doing, e-com, because they're selling a product. Okay. And that is basically the majority of the people that we can't serve. Anyone who's selling a service, we can. Okay. So first couple of things, bio positioning. Okay. And I'm going to go through, and some of you guys will probably think like these are such tiny little aspects, but you've got to realize that when someone scrolls through your profile, everything they see either adds or takes away from the likelihood that they convert. Okay. And you want every single thing that they see to add conversion. Okay. So these small things, they seem small, but I promise you they add up. Okay. So first of all is the bio positioning. You can see proven AI systems and infrastructure to sell your service at scale. Founder and CEO at AI acquisition. Okay. Immediately from reading that, you know exactly what I do. Okay. I own a company called AI Acquisition. Okay. AI Acquisition Community. Okay. And we have proven AI systems and infrastructure. Okay. And also what's quite tactical in terms of the way that we've framed this is, first of all, you've got the first line authority, founder and CEO at AI Acquisition. Obviously that links to my business page where there's testimonials, there's more information on what we do. So if someone clicks on that, again, perfect touch point, still nurtured. But then they read that, a lot of people, and they think, what does that mean? What do they do? He's the founder and CEO of this company. What do they do? They read the next line, proven AI systems and infrastructure. Okay, that's what we do. Perfect, immediately communicated. Why proven AI systems and infrastructure? To sell your service at scale. So the benefit of what we do. Okay, logical next step, DM me, build for info. So as you read down, you have authority, you understand what I do, you understand why I do it, and then you have the next step if you want to work with me. So as much as that seems like so small, all of these things are out. Okay, obviously I've mentioned that every touch point is engineered to add conversion. So for example, highlights. When you click through my highlights, first of all, you click on growth, you'll be able to see that from the time that I had 50 followers all the way to now just over 4,000, I've been doing the same thing. That immediately sets me apart from about probably 90% of the market who have changed their business model, changed what they're preaching, like across the period of their account, and they don't have some consistent, this is what I do. So I have undeniable proof that I've been doing this for a long time and that I'm not some guru who's just popped out of nowhere and now claiming I'm an AI infrastructure expert. I've been doing it since I had 100 followers a couple of years ago. Okay, so that is the first point. And I think a key point to say is that there's a massive caveat to every single thing that I'm going through today. You do actually need to know what you're talking about, okay? Because it's hard to build authority, trust, and basically get people to convert if you don't actually have proof that you know what you're talking about. So massive caveat, if you don't actually know what you're doing, go actually learn the skill that you're preaching and then come back to this video and continue. Okay. So the highlights, they all add conversion. First of all, they drive people to my YouTube. They see the growth. They see the lifestyle that I live. Okay. That obviously gives people an idea of this is what he does. Here's the credibility that he knows what he's talking about. This is what I can expect in terms of the lifestyle and the sort of dream outcome if I was to work with him. Okay. We've also got client results and everything like that, which I'll go into a little bit more down the line. Again, clear call to action so every person knows what to do next. And I think a key thing is, as I said, the more people investigate, because people do investigate these days, and think about every single person that you've ever bought off, right? Before you buy off them, you will do a deep dive and you will scroll and you will think there's got to be something that proves this guy isn't as good as it seems, right? Because everything is too good to be true these days. So you want people to, as they scroll, every post they see, every story they click on, every highlight they see, it needs to add more authority, credibility, and trust. Because think about it like this. If someone scrolls, they might be ready to buy and are just doing a last little search on you before they book a call. They scroll, then they see that one video, right? And they're like, wait a minute, I'm not sure about this guy. Okay, so you want to make sure that as people scroll down your page and as people do investigate, as they will, that it only adds more conversion. And that is how my profile is set up. So people can go and search and try and find something wrong, try and find a reason that I'm another bullshitter, and they won't. Okay, so that is really key. Make sure that everything on your page, no matter where they click, it's going to add conversion. Okay, something else to note is that everything is YouTube optimized. Okay, if you've seen the Google study that talks about the sort of different touch points and how much content people now need to consume to convert, it's now a massive amount. So it's very hard to get people to consume that amount of content from you to basically be pre-sold just on platforms like Instagram. Okay, so that's why we push people to YouTube. That's why my link in bio is YouTube, and I'll talk about the tracking behind that as well. And that's why I've got highlight covers that are also YouTube as well, because we want people to watch videos like this where they can actually learn more and not just see, a 30-second reel. Okay, so that is step one and the foundation of everything. No matter what traffic you drive, you've got to think about where is it coming into? What do people see when they click on your ad? What do people see when they see a, reel from you? Okay, everything has to be engineered to add conversion. Okay, that's step one. Now, in terms of additional stuff that we're obviously doing on the profile, we first of all have story sequences. So this is, again, another touch point, right? It is behind the scenes content that builds trust and demonstrates expertise through real client results and daily business operations. So what we're really doing is we're sharing exactly what's going on. We're pulling behind the curtain. And this is something that a lot of people can't do or won't do because they have to sort of fabricate stories to make people want to buy from them, right? Whereas if you can actually just be real and say, this is what we did today. This is a client I onboarded today. This is how I run my ads. So you can see, for example, story sequence we did, during the month of August is literally just telling people how I run ads that convert. And obviously this is going to be another step down through this presentation, but giving this away to people and actually just giving value for free and showing them not theory or not what you could do, but what you're doing personally in your business is the number one trust builder. Is like full transparency. This is what I'm doing. Here's how you can do it. Enjoy. Right. And obviously client results, we had, what is this? We had obviously a 17-year-old. This was a guy named Mateus. He joined our community around like a year ago. He did his first 10K month. That's something that I'm just going to share on my story. Likewise, anytime someone messages me with a positive message about, the community or the work that we've done for them, then I'm always going to share that because that is the most nurturing piece of content that you can give. It's client testimonials. And you guys should all know that by now. Okay. So that also acts as another really good touch point because think about it like this. When you're constantly pushing out traffic and you're running paid ads, majority of the time, the first thing that people will click on when they see your profile, if you have a story, is your story. Okay. So like if you click on an account and you see that they've got something on their story, I guarantee you it's going to be the first thing they click on. Okay. And it's going to be the first thing that you click on. So you've got to realize that first impressions count. It sounds like cheesy, right? But they do. So you want the first thing that people to see from you to be something that naturally positions you as an authority and nurtures them from the very beginning, because that sets the tone. So likewise, we're always focused on having story sequences so that when we're running ads and there's new traffic coming into the profile, when they do click on that first thing that is my story, it's going to set a great first impression and set the tone for what else they might see on my profile. Okay, so that's obviously another step. Strategic reels. Okay, so in terms of our reels, if you're wondering about what's the strategy behind the content that we do produce, okay, it's one of three things. It's top of funnel content, which is basically edits or more general content that captures a larger audience, but it's going to capture an audience that are at least somewhat interested in entrepreneurship or somewhat interested in business, right? So we're collecting a group of people who may or may not be interested in our offer, right? Then there's middle of funnel content. So this is content that educates and basically nurtures people and just teaches them more about what I do and what sort of space I'm in. Okay, then there's more like authority and sort of converting content. Like for example, like this, I've just got the picture from it. I couldn't find the reel, but this was a reel that I posted. It's basically just a clip from a day that I did in London in person with a 50K a month founder. He runs an email marketing agency. We filmed the whole thing. That's going to be a long form. So keep an eye out for that on the channel at some point soon. But posting that as a reel means that anyone who comes onto my page and again wants to know that I actually know what I'm talking about, they can go watch a clip where I'm sat in person with a 50K a month agency founder doing what I say I do. Okay, and that is something that majority of people can't do. So it immediately cuts above that noise, right? So the reels, again, you want to take people through that process of top of funnel, middle of funnel, bottom of funnel, and you want to take them through the process of unaware, completely unaware, but somewhat interested. That's the top of funnel. Then you want to educate them on the problem, make them problem aware and solution aware in your middle of funnel content. And then you make them offer aware in your bottom of funnel content, which for me is call to actions on my story and the occasional carousel with a call to action as well. Okay. Obviously I mentioned there about the carousels. it's doing the same thing. It's just taking those people through that awareness. So regardless of the content you produce, you've always got to think, which category does this content fall into? Is it bringing in new people? Okay. Is it educating and nurturing the existing people who have already come into my profile from top of funnel? Or is it actually targeted, made to convert the people that are already solution and problem aware? Okay. Then obviously YouTube, as I mentioned, everything is optimized for YouTube. The reason that we've been doing this, I mean, first of all, you'll see that a lot of people are making a lot of money with small channels on YouTube. So, it's proven to work, but also because I get messages like this all the time and they are the hottest leads that I can get. You'll see here, guy with 11,000 followers. Hey, Samson, just wanted to reach out and say that YouTube video, if you did less, you'd be richer, was so good. Hello, Samson. I hope you're doing well. Arrived to your page through YouTube. Massive value there. Hi, mate. Things are going well. I want to expand, blah, blah, blah. I came across a video of yours about on YouTube. That's why I started following you. Hey, bro, just wanted to say, found you on YouTube. Thanks for dropping so much game in there. So these are inbound messages to my Instagram profile from people who I have never spoke to, never interacted with, never messaged on Instagram at all. They are coming inbound because they've seen YouTube. Okay, so likewise, basically anyone who interacts with me, we're trying to get them onto YouTube because it's proven that when they have watched enough videos, they will come inbound. Okay, and that means I don't have to outreach, and it's not a hard sell, and it's not hard to get someone on call when they have come to you. Okay, so keep that in the back of your head that everything is optimized for YouTube and to push people to YouTube. Okay. Obviously, as mentioned, the content ecosystem, every piece of content serves a specific purpose in moving prospects through our carefully crafted awareness journey. So that's literally the whole goal, is to get people from completely unaware, no idea who I am or what I do, and get them through the different stages of awareness, and then they come inbound. Okay, that's the whole goal. Now, obviously, once we have got the foundations and touch points sort of set up properly, then we need to generate some traffic. So how are we actually getting traffic into this profile? Okay, now you'll see 85% organic reach in August, 15% paid amplification. Now, the key here is that organic can do majority of the work for you, and you can do the majority of your testing with organic. Okay, so a really good feature that we've been using as well is Instagram's trial reels. You'll see 300 people liked your trial reel, 200 people, 200 people, 1,000 people, 100 people, right? So we're getting thousands and thousands of people who are coming in through top of funnel content that gets really good views. Okay, now when you realize that you have a post that does really well organically, those are the types of posts that you want to put spend into. Okay, because if you're putting spend into random videos that you have not posted anywhere and you have no idea where they perform, you're basically gambling and fingers crossed that it works. Whereas if you're able to test on a free organic playing field and figure out, okay, what are the pieces of content that get us the highest quality followers? What are the pieces of content that get the most views in general? You can then use those pieces of content to build your campaigns and put money into confidently, because you know that they're already a high piece of performing content, and just putting spend into it is just going to amplify that, right? And the ads have been doing well because I've been getting messages like this. You'll see I've been seeing you in between my stories, had to reach out, right? Because I'm everywhere. And I will explain how we're actually managing to do that. You'll see we had a guy reach out to us who said, bro, you are crushing spend right now. We were just chatting at WAP. I don't know if you guys know the platform. Really big company in America, owned by Iman Gadzi now. And they were saying, they were chatting at WAP about, we see your ads everywhere, run it up. So it's always great getting messages like this because it confirms that what I'm doing is actually working. It means we're doing something right. Okay, so as mentioned, the traffic strategy centers on a fundamental principle. Organic content builds authority, paid ads amplify winners. Okay, so 800,000 Instagram views in August. We proved that consistent, high-value content creation remains the most cost-effective way to reach qualified prospects. Okay, you've got to realize 800,000 views. All you need is 1%, less than 1% of those people to be somewhat interested in your offer and book a call, and you've got more traffic than you know what to do with. Okay, whereas there's people who are spending thousands and thousands on ads and genuinely seeing only a 2x return, whereas we're seeing almost a 20x return. Okay, big difference. All right, so top of funnel advertising. And to give you guys a breakdown of the full advertising strategy, this is it simplified down so you can literally just copy. Okay, 1, top of funnel ads. This is where we are putting spend into our high performing organic content, okay, and pushing that as a boosted reel, okay, solely optimized for profile visits. Okay, so these basically act as a staple of consistent incoming traffic. Okay, and these videos, they're not traditional ads. They're in essence just a reel where it's clear I'm talking about, the type of stuff that I do, and I'm bringing in that top of funnel content. But it is targeted towards the right people so that the quality of the followers that is coming in is very qualified. Okay. Then, in fact, I'll get to this after just to show you what this looks like, because a lot of people will optimize for like cost per profile visit. Now, for example, I ran a bunch of different campaigns. For reference, we split test. We do 3 ad sets targeting different audiences, and then we run 5 different creatives, so 5 different ads per ad set. Now, I got plenty of ad sets where the cost per profile visit was lower. The one that we ended up consistently running is around 18p, 17p per profile visit. I got ones that were getting like 10p, 11p, but my cost per qualified follower went up. Okay, so what you want to optimize for is cost per qualified follow. Okay, so those are the ones that you want to stick with. So once you find one winner, you turn off all the other ads and you stick with one ad that is proven to give you the most qualified followers, because that's where the money's going to come from, I can assure you. Okay, and I'll just give you guys a run through so you can see what this actually looks like. Obviously, this is over the last sort of few weeks. You can see that I'm actually having engagement through very high quality followers. Okay, so these are high quality accounts who, first of all, are, within my ICP. They also will be able to afford my offer. They're in, the sort of time zones and sort of demographics that make sense for who I want to target. And obviously, we're bringing in followers with people who have 50,000 followers, 100,000 followers, 20k followers, business owners. And this is the key, is that just getting new followers doesn't mean you're going to make money. I know accounts with hundreds of thousands of followers who really make very little because the quality of those followers is really poor. So focus on a low volume of high quality followers over a massive volume of really low quality followers. Okay, so that's the top of funnel advertising. Now, with the people that are coming in, we're building custom audiences. Okay, so you'll see that I mentioned earlier about the tracking, and I will go back to it. But basically what we do is we use URL Genius, and I think I talk about this a little bit more as we go forward, is we use a site called URL Genius. We put it in our bio. Now that tracks every single person who clicks on that link, okay, as a custom audience in Facebook ads. Now, we link that to our YouTube. So what we can then do is retarget people. We're tracking every single person who has clicked on a video that takes them to YouTube, clicked on a link that takes them to YouTube, sorry, and then retargeting those people with more action-driven ads. So that takes us to the middle of funnel retargeting. Okay, so these are direct messaging. So these ads are much more action-driven, and we are directly telling people, DM me this keyword if you want to work with me. Now, the people who we're targeting are people who have already shown interest in our content. So we are targeting people who have, 1, watched our YouTube, 2, engaged with our ads in the last 180 days, and engaged with our content in the last 180 days. And you can build these custom audiences on meta ads very easily. So this is stuff that you can literally copy and paste. You run one top of funnel ad, and that brings in a lot of traffic, and you really focus on organic to, again, bring in lots of traffic. And then what you're doing is you're building these custom audiences of educated buyers, right? Educated prospects that have come in through that top of funnel. Once they're educated, we're then retargeting them with middle of funnel ads. Okay, so that should hopefully make sense. Now, obviously, there it is. I was literally just talking about it. I was waiting for it to come up. We build custom audiences of people clicking through to YouTube content. So this literally creates a pool of people that we have as an audience that we can put ads in front of that have already seen our YouTube. And as proven by the inbound messages I get, those are the people most likely to convert. Okay, you don't want to be running ads to absolute strangers saying, do you want to work with me? It just doesn't work anymore. Okay, because people need to go through multiple different touch points before they make a buying decision. So you want to hit ads with people who have already seen your content, already engaged with your content, and know who you are, and are, for example, offer aware. Because then when you hit them with a call to action that says, I'm guessing you're probably ready, you already know that you've got this problem, you already know this is the solution, DM me this to work with me, think about how much more effective that's going to be. Okay, and reinforcing the fact this is what we're taking them through. Unaware, problem aware, solution aware, offer aware are the people who we want to target with paid ads. Because why would you pay to put your content in front of someone who is completely unaware, doesn't know they have a problem, doesn't know there's a solution, doesn't know that you offer a solution, right? Why would you spend money to get in front of those people? It's useless. What you would spend money on is putting yourself in front of people who already know they have a problem, already know there is a solution, and already know that you are someone who can provide that solution. Those are the people you want to target, okay? So the key insight here is understanding that effective paid advertising isn't about spending more money, okay? It's not. It's about amplifying what's already working organically and identifying the highest performing organic content, putting paid ads behind it, and then we achieve, maximum reach whilst maintaining authenticity and trust with our audience. And you'll see that these are the messages you get when you implement this. Okay, you get people who come inbound because they have gone through this process. Okay, you get people asking to be on a call with you. For example, I've seen your page, looks awesome. I'd love to sit on a call with you. Samson, doing great, man. Would love to have a chat if you're free. Okay. Saw your page. I love what you're creating. Okay. There's a bunch of other ones here. Bro, you got some crazy results. Do you offer one-on-one group coaching? I would like to hear more about this AI business model you're working on. I'm sure there's some other ones there. The point is that people will come to you when they have gone through this process. Okay. When your content has done this automatically without you even having to speak to them, and they have gone through this process, then they're going to come inbound to you because they now know you have an offer and they actually want it, right? And these people are pre-sold. So that's why we optimize for that, because those people who ask to be on a call with you, right? Think about how much more likely they are to close than someone who you've had to ask to hop on a call with you. Okay. So that's why we do it. Now, next step, moving on. Scroll down. We're going to get into our appointment setting system. Okay. So now that you have traffic, okay, obviously I've walked you through everything we do to create that traffic and create high quality traffic. How do we turn that traffic into booked calls? This conversion is something that a lot of people struggle with because they either force it, they come across way too salesy, or they're speaking to people who have no idea who they are. They're speaking to cold prospects, okay? Most coaches, service providers, consultants, they treat social media interactions as optional. We treat every single engagement, every single like, every single follow, every single story view as a potential £5,000 client, because you don't always know how close this person is to conversion. And if you don't ask, then you'll never know. Okay. You probably think it is your sales skills that are the problem, right? If your closing rate sucks, you probably think, right, I just need to work on sales. Or it's the quality of your prospects, right? Because in that sales call, you're having to take them from completely unaware to wanting to buy from you. And that's quite tricky. Whereas taking someone from wanting to buy with you and just on the edge to over the edge is a lot easier. Okay, so you'll see here is some of the proof of the system working. You'll see we are booking calls with people who are making 10 to 20K a month, 10 to 20K a month, 5 to 10, 5 to 10, 20 to 50K a month, 5 to 10K a month. We've had a few recently, 50K plus, 20K plus. Like, these are high quality bookings. Okay, think about how much easier it is to sell someone who's already making 20, 50 grand a month. And for me, that is my ICP. I'm targeting people who are already an established business owner. If you're hopping on calls with people who haven't even made a grand that month, then it's very hard to sell them, a 5K, 10K package, right? When they don't have the affordability. So focus on the quality of your prospects and the quality of your targeting. And then the calls that you get are much higher quality. Your close rate goes up. Okay. So in terms of the setup, we have 2 dedicated setters. These are handling all profile interactions. Okay. So they DM literally every single person. We have 2 setters. They sit on the account and they manage everything. So if someone likes a post, comments, story views, follows, DMs us the keyword, we are reaching out to all of them. Obviously, there's an order of priority in terms of who do you message first, and they have their set targets for message this amount of people per day, and then obviously go through all the way from highest quality to lowest educated, which is obviously someone who's just like to reel, but at least they know who we are, and that is way better than doing cold. Okay. Now, 1,000 new followers in August, reached out to every single one with a personalized message, mentioning their name, mentioning what they do, okay, and getting around a 70 to 80% reply rate. That's very good, okay? Strategic follow-up, you'll be surprised how much money there is in follow-ups. A lot of people, they'll send one message, they don't reply, they give up, forget about it, right? We have signed clients after the 5th follow-up, the 6th, the 7th, the 8th, the 10th. I mean, honestly, if you're not following up with the high quality prospects at least, then you're leaving money on the table, okay? So what we're doing is, first of all, engagement detection. So figuring out who is engaged with the content, who has shown interest, okay? So new followers, likes, comments, story interactions, okay? Then we're having a quick look, and obviously when I say we, my setters, they're having a quick look and looking at their profile and saying, is this person worth a conversation? They look at my ICP, which they have access to, and they say, is this person at least close to this ICP or likely within it? Okay, if they are, perfect, we personalize outreach to them. If they're not, forget about them, send them a YouTube video, keep them in the ecosystem until they are qualified. Let them make some money, for free using my YouTube, and then let them come inbound. Okay, and that leads me on to the 4th point, which is YouTube direction. So we are redirecting people to YouTube, okay? Even in the setting process, I told you throughout every aspect of the sales, right? We are pushing people to YouTube because it always adds value, it always adds conversion, and it means that when someone hops on a call, they're so much more likely to close. I have had people who have booked in directly from YouTube, and borderline just been ready to pay without me saying a word. Okay, and that is the power of long form. Okay, and again, not just saying this, not just theory, not just, this is a nice idea. We're actually doing it. Here's, an example. My setters have sent him a message saying, this video might be useful for you. Thanks so much. Drop to sub because of how much that helps. So think about it like this. If you're in a conversation with someone and you genuinely have a resource that might be useful to them or might solve a micro problem straight away, get it straight to them. So for example, my setters are trained so that in the conversation, if someone mentions, right, I've got a problem with this, or I'm struggling with my offer, or I'm struggling with leads, instead of saying, like, let's hop on a call, I can help you solve that, which again, sales resistance. Instead, here's an answer. Let me solve it for free. This video might help. And then again, when they've watched a 20-minute video, they're already close to conversion without my setter even needing to do anything, just sending them a link to a video. Okay. So this ensures that by the time prospects reach a sales call, they're already educated about our methodology, understand our positioning, and are genuinely interested in working with us. Like me personally, I still take large majority of my sales calls. I don't want to speak to people and have to explain this is what I do. I don't want to spend half an hour saying, by the way, this is what we do, this is who we help, right? Because what a waste of time when I could be speaking to people who already know what I offer, and already know what problem I solve, and are basically ready to go and just want to make sure that it's the right fit. Those, I promise you, are more fun, more enjoyable, and overall just more beneficial to everyone involved. Okay, so that is why we optimize for YouTube. And as mentioned, this pre-qualification dramatically improves call quality and conversion rates. Also, something to note is that if someone's not ready to work with you, right, and they, you're trying to push them to a call, but genuinely they're not ready, or they're not in a position where they're qualified and they're going to potentially waste your time, or they don't have the money, don't start ignoring them. Don't completely forget about them. Just push them into your ecosystem. Give them your YouTube, okay? Send them a link and say, listen, it might not be a good fit for us to work together at this time, but hopefully this YouTube video helps you make, your first couple thousand. Hopefully this video helps you get started. And that way people will continue watching you for a long time, and eventually they will be qualified and they'll come back around. And I've seen it happen. Okay, I've seen people who have come into the DMs wanting to work. They're not ready yet. We say, I don't think it's a good fit, but this video might be helpful. Later down the line, they come back. Okay, so keep that in mind. Now, step 4. So obviously we now have talked about the appointment setting process that turns that traffic into booked calls. Now, booked calls are great. Showed calls, shown pre-qualified calls are even better. Okay, so I'm going to talk about the importance of a post-booking process. A lot of people don't consider it. A lot of people don't think about it. A lot of people just think it's, so unnecessary, right? You'd be surprised how much of a difference this makes. And it's also the pre-sold element is also huge. So the moment someone books a call is when most people relax, okay? For us, it's when the real work begins, all right? Our pre-booking process transforms a simple calendar booking into a commitment ceremony that ensures high-quality prospects show up ready to buy. Okay, so this is the exact page that you will get redirected to after booking a call with me, okay? If you want to book a call, I'm sure there'll be a link below and you can go and see this page for yourself and see that I'm not just, talking theory. So first thing we say is your call is not yet confirmed. Final step, check your email to confirm your call. No, click I know the sender to add to your calendar. So the first step is that immediately makes people go to their calendar, confirm it, and that adds it into their calendar and means that they're going to see it on their calendar. They're not going to miss it. It also ensures that every single email that we send, every follow-up goes directly to their inbox. Okay. When someone clicks, I know the sender, that means we don't end up in spam anymore, which is ideal. Okay. So that's the first thing, is getting people to actually confirm it, right? Because that makes them committed. All right. Now your call is not yet confirmed. Final step, check your email. And then we have a VSL. So this little VSL is a pre-frame VSL. Now, basically all this does is super casual. There's no sort of heavy sales to it. It's literally just me saying, and again, if you want to go book a call, go have a watch. But literally all we say is we say, hey, Samson here, really appreciate you booking a call. And I just walk you through, here are the basic expectations. Here's what we're likely going to talk about. Make sure you show up as an open book. If you don't want to talk to me, then there's no way that I can help. If you think you're going to waste my time, let me know and don't book. Right? It's the basics. It's so simple, but it makes such a difference because it means that people show up already knowing what they're getting into, knowing what the call's about, and you don't get people showing up who are just, they're thinking it's going to be a conversation. Everyone who books and watches that video knows that it's a sales call, knows what we're going to discuss, knows what I offer, and knows what I expect from them when they show up. Okay? Then also, if you scroll down a little bit, you'll see I've got a link to a video. So I say, also, here's what you can expect by installing AI acquisition systems and infrastructure. Believe it or not, this is a YouTube video. Again, we are maximizing the chance of people watching YouTube. And you'll see that I do it even more as we go down. So that's where people go immediately after booking. Okay. Now, before they book, something actually to mention is that we strategically capture information through our Calendly form. So when you're booking through Calendly, again, if you want to go have a look and book a call, you'll see the Calendly form that we have. And what we actually do is we collect information on, first of all, where you're at the moment. So that helps us understand whether these people are qualified. If someone comes through completely unqualified, we'll cancel the call. We'll reach out to them, let them know it'd be a waste of both of our times. How useful for everyone. And also we're understanding what are their goals, what are their challenges, what are they struggling with, right? And how committed are they to working with me if it's a good fit. Now, by getting people to submit that information, not only is it useful for myself to understand in the call, I already understand your challenges and I can actually tailor my solution to explain it in a way that it makes sense to your situation, but also it makes people fully committed. If someone actually has to type and say, you know, I'm committed, if it's a good fit, 8 out of 10, I'm committed to working with you if it's a good fit, then when they show up to the call, like subconsciously, they have already committed to it in a sense, right? So when it comes to that close and I ask them, do you think it's a good fit? Right? If they say yes, and then they say, I don't want to invest, I can always say like, well, you said it probably be an 8. You said you'd probably be likely to invest if it was a good fit. What's your main concern? And we can actually handle that, right? So that's very useful as one. Obviously, the VSL sets expectations, establishes authority, and begins the selling process before the call. Our reminders, very tactical. You'll see, I'm just going to show you. These are exactly the reminders. As mentioned, I'm giving it all away. Literally what we say is, first of all, hey, locked in our time for this, so people know when it is. They've got a text, right? If there's any changes to your calendar, let me know in advance. This stops no-shows and encourages reschedules. If people, like sometimes people are a bit scared to reach out if they then can't make the call and they just won't. Give them the option and say, it's fine. If you can't make it, stuff gets in the way, just let me know, we can reschedule, okay? You'll see here, hey, Samson, just pop you in. This is because I've put myself in so that we can actually see the follow-ups. Just popped you an email, wanted to make sure we're still good for our call today. Look forward to speaking with you soon. Now, when people check their email, messages like this are perfect because it means that people go, oh, what's he sent me on email? In the email, you will see all of our follow-ups, again, push people to YouTube. Hey, apologies for the relentless reminders, but I do want to make the most of our conversation. One of the things we help founders with at AI Acquisition is turning their goals into predictable outcomes with proven systems. We've got a video that explains the core concept if you want to check it out before our call. Okay, so literally all of our follow-ups are optimized to push people to watch our YouTube before they hop on a call with us. Okay, because think about it like this. If someone can actually watch a video 20 minutes long of me nurturing them, educating them on what we do before they hop on a sales call, right? I can not have to cover any of that in the call. We can just get to straight to, you know what I do, let's talk about your situation, what the issues are and how I can help, okay? Then again, this is a really good reminder that works brilliantly, and I wish I'd put some screenshots in here of the confirmations, but hi, please confirm your attendance to our meeting or we may have to cancel this call. Now what this does is it means that people come to you, okay? What people will do, and I get this all the time, I get notifications saying so-and-so has reconfirmed their call. Okay, so they go to their email and they actually confirm it on their calendar and they say yes. Now think about the psychological commitment behind that. Okay, it's not just about preventing no-shows, it's about building psychological commitment, right? When prospects actively confirm their attendance multiple times, they're more mentally invested, not just in showing up to the call, but also in the outcome of the call, right? So if someone actually has to manually click and say, yes, I'm showing up, you've got to understand how much harder it is for them to then bail on that, okay? Psychologically, if you tell someone, if you were meeting your mate and you message them, right, and this comes the day before the call, okay, and you say, like, yes, I'm definitely going to be there, it's going to be very hard for you to cancel on them, okay? So you've got to understand that this pre-booking process basically acts as a final qualification filter because it means that the people who show up, they've invested 10 minutes to complete a form, right? They've watched a video. And if people aren't willing to do that, how are they going to be willing to invest in a 5K program, right? Or a 3K program, 6K program, okay? This process naturally selects and filters through the best, highest quality prospects, the people who reconfirm, the people who show up on time, the people who educate themselves before the call. Those are the prospects I want to work with, and we're able to filter them through simply just by having this sort of follow-up process. So seems small, makes a massive difference. Okay. Step 5, obviously now that we've got people on the call, how do we actually go about selling them? And I'm going to walk you guys through my style of selling, and it's much more about value. And I've actually taken that and transferred it. Obviously, majority of the stuff I do now is still B2B, but some people are starting businesses and starting a service-based business and need the system. So occasionally it's B2C. Regardless, it still works really well. So what we do is we do a prescription-based selling. Okay, so instead of telling people like, this might be interesting to you, or like, would you like this? Instead, what I say is, I recommend, okay? I recommend this. And I give people a clear roadmap so that regardless of whether they hop on and like end up closing or not, they leave with value and then potentially come back down the line at a better time if that's the objection that we can't actually overcome, right? So it should feel like a strategy session. Okay, that's the key thing, is we're basically positioning ourselves as a doctor diagnosing problems and recommending solutions, not a salesperson pushing products. Okay, think about it like this. How many times have you walked into the doctor's, told the doctor about a problem, okay, he's offered a solution and you've gone, nah, probably not. Never, okay, never. It's an 100% close when you go to the doctor's, and I treat it the same way. I have people come to me, they tell me their problem, I prescribe a solution, and I recommend the next steps. Okay, and that is a much, first of all, more respectable way of selling, because I'm not trying to push people. I'm simply telling them what I would do in their situation. Okay, and first of all, that builds a lot more trust, and people are a lot more confident when you're not saying, you should do this, but instead you're saying, if I was in your situation, this is what I would do. And then they can choose to implement and go and implement that on their own. Majority won't, and majority will just come to you for the speed, for the efficiency, for the ease of just accessing it straight away. Okay, so you'll see it's a solution roadmap. I literally go through the call and I explain the solutions to their problems rather than just pitching them something. I tell them, this is what I would do, this is how I would solve that problem. Then when it comes to an actual next step, it's, okay, that all makes sense, right? That's perfect. I do see how that would help my offer. What are the next steps? And they come to me and ask me what the next steps are. And I tell them, great. So if you wanted to work with us to implement that, this is our offer. Okay, and that's literally the whole framework if you want to copy it. Okay, another thing is the feature benefit integration. So every aspect of your offer or your deliverables, instead of just telling people this is what we do, because sometimes you'll do that and people go, why, right? In their head, they're thinking, why do you do that, right? Instead, I explain pretty clearly, instead of we do this, I say we do this because we have this part of our offer because our ICP struggles with this. Okay, and again, builds trust and shows people, I'm not just trying to sell you an offer. We've designed this offer to solve your problem. Okay, much better way. And that literally gives me zero, I'm not going to say I get zero objections. Anyone who tells you that is lying, but I don't really get any offer objections because I explain this is why we do it and it's logical. Okay, I don't really get any price objections because I say we've priced it like this because you're expected to see this level of return, right? Logical. Okay, so I go through a logical process with literally every aspect of selling. Okay, so. Okay, as you can see, my camera died. I had to start recording again. So where were we? I think we were talking about basically within my sales calls. Yeah, that's it. So within my sales calls, majority of people are not questioning price. They're calculating ROI. Okay, because everything is basically framed in a way that it is a logical decision. There is no sort of level of convincing. There is no sort of psychological tricks. It's literally just, here is the investment. Here is what you can expect to see as a return. This is why we've priced it like that. This is why the program is built like this. And it's just logical steps for the people that it makes sense for. Okay. And this is how your offer should be designed. It shouldn't be a fingers crossed we can find someone who believes me. It's I have something that is going to be a logical solution for a select few people. And now let me focus on finding those people. Okay. So you'll see, and when I have calls like this, you'll see the results are brilliant because either people close or I get messages like this. Hey, Samson, great call we just had, insane quality and information and well above what I was expecting. Perfect. And thank you. You've really opened my eyes to what's actually possible. That's probably the most valuable call I've ever had. So I really appreciate it, mate. And I know I'm not a paying customer yet, but on a human level, thanks a lot. You're providing real value and can't wait to get started. So those are the kind of messages you get from people who potentially aren't ready and they have an objection that you actually can't get over. For example, they genuinely don't have the money and it's genuinely just not the right time, but they are super excited to get going. This person will come back around. And I know that for a fact, okay? Because when you actually show people that you're not there just for money, you're there to deliver value in exchange for money, then people will see that and people will come around eventually when it is the right time for them, because they know that you're the person who can actually give them value and it isn't just after their cash, which the majority of the market are, right? So it's very easy to set yourself apart. And when you have, a sales process like this, you don't get really any offer objections because the program is completely customized to their specific situation and challenges. And obviously, when you're building out an offer, it should be customized to your ICP's pain points. Every single aspect of the offer, you shouldn't have parts of the offer that don't solve a problem. Every single point that you go through in terms of we do this, 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 and this, they should each be solving a different problem for your ICP. And that way you don't get offer objections. Everyone I speak to, when I ask them, I say, everything I walk you through, do you think that that would help you get to the situation that you want to be in, right? No one says no, because the offer is clear and I've designed it that way. Okay. Price objections. Very rare. Can't remember the last time I got a price objection, right? Because I position it as a premium solution with a crystal clear value proposition and ROI calculation. I don't say this is how much it costs. I say the investment is this much because you can expect to see this, right? We've priced it like this so that everyone can see a return within that first month, within the first 2 months, right? That means we get a high close rate. So obviously in August, it was 6 new clients. We did actually have a couple very early September, but I thought I would leave those out, keep it real. Okay. And this is very true, right? The best sales calls don't feel like sales calls. They feel like strategy sessions where the logical next step happens to be working together. And promise you, I've, tried a bunch of different sales tactics, right? Nothing compares. These types of sales calls are, first of all, enjoyable, fun. There's no level of guilt. There's no level of pressure, right? And you don't have to spend time convincing people that your offer is the right thing. You simply work with the people that, actually can see the value in it, right? And that's always going to be more enjoyable for me specifically. And I tell everyone, I just don't want to sell like that. I don't want to take someone on board who isn't actually going to benefit from my offer, first of all, but doesn't actually want my offer. Why would you? I don't understand it, because some people genuinely want to work with people. I guess it's, different for me because we do consulting, there's one-on-one calls, and I do not want to sit one-on-one with someone who doesn't actually see the value in what I'm offering, doesn't want to work with me, and has only gone ahead with it because they're pressured. Those people don't renew. Those people don't bring referrals. Those people don't upsell down the line, right? People who see the logical solution, right, want to go ahead with it. They end up coming back around. They end up renewing. They end up going for upsells because, it's a type of offer that makes sense for them. Okay, now the final step beyond sales, okay, because a lot of people think it ends there. I've got them in the bag. Now I just deliver my offer. That's it. Wrong. Okay, if you set up your onboarding and delivery in terms of the first thing that they immediately see of you in a way that, reinforces everything they believed and gives them that brilliant first impression of the actual service itself, then you're much more likely to, first of all, have people that complete the program. As I said, people that renew, people that bring testimonials, people that bring referrals, but also you set the tone, okay? And you make people, you completely remove the need for buyer's remorse, because people are reinforced immediately after their purchase. Yes, I'm getting what I thought I paid for. I'm working with the type of person that I thought I was. I don't need to worry, okay? And that just leads to a way better sort of client experience, because not only do you have a better client who's going to work, more effectively with you, but they're going to get better results because they're going to be confident. They're going to have confidence in the program. They're going to take it seriously. Okay. So for us, the sale is just the beginning. Our onboarding process transforms excited new clients into raving advocates within 24 hours whilst establishing the foundation for long-term success and retention. Okay. So number one, immediate access. Now, when someone pays you, think about it like this. With a lot of programs, or if you're selling a service, if you're an agency, okay, it's one of those things where people pay and often they don't immediately receive something, okay? When you buy a product in the shop, right, you buy it, you can immediately have the benefit of it. So there is no level of buyer's remorse. There's no level of doubt. There's no level of fear in between this period of I've paid, I haven't got it yet, right? There is that in this type of industry. So what you want to do is give people something tangible immediately after their purchase so that they don't have that. They immediately see what they paid for and they can immediately see what to expect, right? So for us, it's their Slack and WhatsApp access. So we immediately give them a one-to-one comms channel. We immediately give them software access. So this is all within 24 hours. Okay. Software access to the software that we give people. Okay. They immediately get a Google Drive access, which is where they will access all of the resources, prompts, meeting notes, literally everything. And this is configured within hours. Okay. Not days. So within hours of paying me. And first of all, they will get majority of this access. I've missed out community access as well. That's all immediately after payment. So they pay, they receive a link. We have a streamlined automated onboarding process. They immediately receive resources so that when they pay, they get a text message with resources for them straight away. So they immediately get something for their buck. Okay. So this is the first impression of efficiency and organization. So we're reinforcing what we've promised them. Okay. Reinforcing them that we have, we know what we're doing with automation because they're getting automated messages after they pay, right? I'm sat there, haven't done anything, and yet they've got a text message full of information, full of funnels, full of different steps. Okay. Next thing, oh, there it is, didn't even read it. Community integration. Okay, so obviously we introduce them to our community, resource library. Immediately they have a sense of belonging, sense of support. They know where they can go, and they have stuff to explore in the meantime of when their, service actually begins. Okay, quick win delivery. We immediately give people first steps. So we have a kickoff call, right? Immediately on that, we set the tone for the next period of time, right? So we can give people an idea of what is the next 3 months going to look like? What are the next 6 months going to look like? So you remove any sort of doubt of, is what I've paid for actually worth it in the long term? Okay. So the psychology of onboarding is critical because new clients experience, first of all, a mixture of excitement, I'm ready to go, and buyer's remorse, I'm not sure if I made the right decision. And you want to basically get rid of that because why do you want your client? You don't want your clients, right, sat at home wondering whether they made a good decision going for you. You want them confident, excited, ready to go because those are the type of people that, first of all, great to work with, but also they get the best results, okay? So our 24-hour quick win strategy capitalizes on the excitement whilst eliminating any doubt. And they actually did a study. They saw that, clients who see progress in their first week, okay, 73% more likely to complete the full program and become referral resources, okay? Literally, that first week is majority of what matters, okay? After that, people don't really think about the payment. They don't really think about the costs that they've had. They just want to know within those first 7 days, yes, I'm getting what I paid for, okay? So you want to give that to them, all right? And in essence, that is everything. Obviously, there's a few nuances in terms of the specific systems that we use and, what our onboarding process specifically looks like. But step by step, that is exactly every single thing we did to take a newly formed hybrid offer and turn it into £20,000 in revenue. Okay. And the really good thing about this is that it's a completely repeatable system. So not only can you take this and replicate this in literally any market, and you'll realize I don't have a massive following. Okay. It's not huge. It's targeted. Okay, and you can do the exact same, right, and make 10K a month, 20K a month with a following of a few thousand followers, okay, which is achievable for anyone, which is why I'm making this video to show you that it's so possible, okay? You can literally just copy me because the process is content and ads in the format that I've described that take people through that awareness stage, appointment setting, a quality appointment setting system, okay? That turns that traffic into booked calls with people who, first of all, can actually afford your offer, but potentially are interested in it and already solution and offer aware. Okay. Sales and authority. Within the sales, we're not pushing an offer down someone's throat. What we're doing is we're prescribing a solution to the problem they've come to us with. And that way they don't have an offer objection because we're giving them the solution to the problem they've come to us with. Okay. Next thing, onboarding and delivery. Give them a great first experience, first impression, and they're going to be a better client for the foreseeable. Okay. Now, these 4 core levers work synergistically. Okay. Content and ads drive qualified traffic and work hand in hand to move people from, as I said, top of funnel to bottom of funnel and from unaware to offer aware. Okay. Appointment setting converts that traffic into quality conversations and quality bookings. Our sales process converts a conversation into a client through prescription, and a systematic onboarding and delivery ensure that those clients succeed and become drivers of growth themselves and sort of work in a flywheel fashion where they bring more people back into us. Okay. And the beauty of this is genuinely, I'm not just saying this, like I am confident that we will get to 100K a month, about 80% profit, not doing anything different. Okay. Like you simply just adjust the inputs. For us, it's going to be more content, more ads, increasing the spend is the main thing. Obviously, if you need more setters to handle it, depending on the hours they're working, fine. The same systematic processes will work regardless of the inputs, and the outputs scale proportionally. So think about it like this. You can take this model and it will apply to a 10K a month business exactly the same way it will to an 100K a month business, and you don't really need to change anything. You replicate the same thing and do it in different volumes. You spend more on ads, and that's literally it. Okay? That is everything we did step by step so that you can just copy me. Now, I've done this to be as transparent as possible and to show you that you are capable of doing this yourself. But if you don't want to do it yourself, which a lot of people won't because it's a lot of work and it's a lot of different things to set up. We have done for you, done with you offers. So if you did want to work with me, I will leave a link below and you can book in a call. And final little step, because I told you I'm giving you the full step-by-step as transparent as possible. If you also want to be able to make really great presentations like this, what I did to actually make this presentation and share with you guys everything that I did in order to scale this offer, what I did is I'll give you the step-by-step, is I went to ChatGPT, I turned on the voice mode, I explained every single thing that we've done in the business in the last 30 days in order to scale this offer. And I asked it to format it into a step-by-step set of notes so that I could walk you guys through this. I then took those notes, I uploaded them to Gamma, which has an AI function which will then generate a presentation like this based off of the notes you give it. I inputted the photos because obviously a lot of people are full of shit. And by showing you guys that I'm not just preaching this, I am practicing it in the very moment, then obviously you're going to believe what I'm saying a lot more. And that is now the full step-by-step of everything I did to scale this offer, and now everything I did to make this YouTube video as well, because why not? And other than that, there is nothing more I can say. Hopefully this was helpful for you guys. Please implement some of this and you will see the results, okay? And you will see the impact simply just by implementing these different steps. Don't overcomplicate it. You don't need to be some genius. You literally just need to follow 6 steps, okay? And that is everything. I will speak to you guys in the next one. See you soon.